Hey everybody, it's Yvonne with Western Star Country Living, and I was coming on here to do a quick dinner. What I was going to do is make something like we used to get at Olive Garden. It was called Steak Gorgonzola, and I didn't have that, so I'm just going to make something. Actually, I'm just kind of throwing a bunch of stuff that we had left over into the skillet, and so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to turn you around so you can see what I'm doing and maybe angle this down. I've just got some tomatoes and onions in here going right now with a little bit of olive oil. And over here I have cut up, this is just some cube steak. I've got that cut up, and I've got a little bit of gravy left over. So we'll see if this is going to taste good or not. Get my spatula. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that the steak gorgonzola had, well, I know it did, sun-dried tomatoes. And I have these tomatoes that are going bad, and so I'm just going to throw them in here. Probably won't taste even close, but we're going to see. So I've cubed this up. I'm going to throw this in here. Put that in the sink. How are you guys doing tonight? It's been kind of crazy around here with everybody coming and going and trying to get our patio finished and trying to get this business going. I think that I'm going to have to slow down though, because I've been I joined this one class and I've been trying to do everything that they say, but honestly, I just don't know if it's for me. She's got good advice and everything, but I don't know that I have the energy to do what all they're talking about. And I know other people have made a go of it and didn't do half of what I'm trying to do. And I mean, I know I haven't been doing it that long, but I don't know. I'll probably take some of it and go with it, and other stuff I'm just going to have to do my own, maybe a little bit slower. Anyway, this is just some Montreal seasoning I'm going to throw in here. This is one of my favorite spices, although I have tons of spices. Get this cooking up here a little bit. Been trying to do a little bit, not really a lot, let me tell you, because I like my carbs, but I'm trying to do a little bit of lower carb, and I definitely love gluten, but Dallas is having tummy issues. I don't know if it's really she has a gluten sensitivity or she just needs to cut back on a little bit of bread, but so we're trying to do a little bit less of that. But it's really hard for me, because I'm telling you, between the carbs and gluten, I don't think I could ever have a life without all of that. I just, pasta and bread and rice and all that, it's just one of my favorites. So anyway, I don't want to stir this too much. I kind of want to just get it and get a brownness on it. So I don't want to move it too much, especially with all the juice from the tomatoes. So I just got it on about a 7 or 8. And I'm going to let this cook for a little bit. I'm going to pause it and I will be right back. I say I will. Okay, I'm back, and this has cooked about as much as I want, so I've turned it off. I'm just going to let it sit there. I'm making the pasta, and then I'm going to make this gorgonzola sauce to go over it. So basically, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a cup, and I'm put some of this balsamic vinegar. I don't know if that's what I said just a few minutes ago, but that's what I meant. And I'm going to pour some in here. And you don't need a whole lot. That's probably enough. So what is that? That is 1/4 of a cup of balsamic vinegar. And what I'm going to take, I have this stuff called Ultra Gel. I buy it in bulk, and it's kind of spendy, but it's sort of like a type of cornstarch, but it thickens even when it's cold. So I'm going to take a little bit of that, and what you do, you got to be careful, because this stuff is kind of hard to work with. So I'm going to take a little bit on a spoon. And what I normally do, because I tried dumping it in one time and it just clumps. It's terrible. So I'm going to take about that much and I'm just going to kind of sprinkle it over the top so that you don't get a big wad of it like that. I don't know if you could see what I was doing. I'm going to let it sit there for a minute and see if that's enough to thicken it up. Because you want it to be almost like a gravy consistency. Let me let it sit there for a minute. I might need a tiny bit more. But that's how you want to do that stuff if you're working with ultra dry. You just want to barely sprinkle it on there. Don't put any big clumps or you'll get clumps. You won't be able to get rid of them. Not very easily. Okay, so I got my water boiling over here. I'm just going to put some pasta in there. Lay it down so I can get it out of here without... And I know tons of people like long pasta. I'm not one of those. I'm going to break my pasta. I just don't like having to twirl it. I mean, I end up twirling it anyway, but I'm not a big lover of really long pasta. And this is only going to be for Lyle and myself, so got that stuff going everywhere. Probably have about everything. That's probably about enough of that. Clean up my mess here. I'm going to take this and stir it around a little bit. I've just got water and salt in there. And stir it around so the pasta doesn't stick. Sit for just a minute and you can see that that is quite thick. Pour it just a tiny bit. That's about what you want. You want it to be able to be a stream and hold together. So I'm going to stop with that. And now what I'm going to do is wait for the noodles to cook, and I'm going to make kind of like an Alfredo sauce, but I've got some leftover gravy, so it's kind of going to be like that. And then I'll put it all together with the blue cheese and that sauce on top. And I'll show you how it looks at the end. I'm gonna pause here again for a minute. I think I am. Gosh darn it. I'll come back on and chit chat with you guys a little bit while I'm waiting for dinner to finish. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm cooking, I always like to clean up as I go, and it just helps me. It's like I hate being done and having a huge mess in the kitchen, so I've got most of my dishes cleaned up and everything, but I know a lot of cooks aren't like that. My mom wasn't one of them. She was the best cook in the world, but she didn't clean as she went, and boy, you'd go in and clean the kitchen after her, and it took you a while, but hey, I wasn't cooking it, so I didn't complain too much. But yeah, it's just kind of funny how that goes. One of my girls kind of does, and one of them doesn't. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a good evening, and I think this is going to turn out. I don't think it's going to be quite as pretty looking, just because the tomatoes kind of fell apart, and if they were if they would have been sun-dried, then they would have been hold together better. But I think it's going to be a pretty good, close version to what I was looking for. So I'm going to pause again, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I'm getting ready to plate this up. So I've got the chicken, or the pasta Alfredo over here. Let me move you so you can see what I'm doing. Or not this thing off. Okay, so I'm going to put this on. That, and I'm going to add some meat over here. Like that. And then I'm going to drizzle some of this over over it. And then it calls for blue cheese crumbles. Be careful, don't want to break my plate. So I got some blue cheese crumbles here. I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top. And I don't know, that's not Olive Garden, but it looks pretty close to me, and I bet it tastes great. Hope you guys have a great evening, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.